It is Crystal with Pineapple Papers, and we are back, the Sketch Sunday crew, with a exclusive sketch. And I got to create this exclusive sketch, which I thought was super fun. So this sketch does have a border. So I am playing with the December Color Rush Studio kits, and I am starting with this awesome rainbow star background paper for my border. And then you can see in the sketch there is some mixed media, and I was not actually in the mood to play with my mixed media. I'm not going to lie. And so lucky for me, Color Rush Studio has a couple of paper pads. They're called Bold and Basic, and it's done for you. So I am taking this one. I'm going to go ahead and trim that down, and that is going to be my mixed media background. So super excited about how this turned out. I think it's great. So there is the basic side, and then the bold side is the other side. So I will be definitely using the other side. I do have another sheet of this, so keep that in mind. They are double-sided. So I went ahead and roughed up the edges, and then I am taking my Distress Oxide in Black Soot, and I'm just giving that a quick little, it's not distressing, it's just inking of the edges. So when I was doing this, so it's kind of funny because I think we go in spurts with our scrapbooking, right? Like there was a time where all of my edges were inked. And then there was a time where none of my edges were inked. So it was kind of fun to do some inking of the edges again. So I just wanted a little bit of that black so that it really popped off. It's subtle though. My other option was to take the ink pad directly to it, which would have given it a much darker black line, but that's not what I wanted. So I went in my stash and I pulled out some black embroidery floss, and this is just cheapy stuff. To be honest, I think I picked this up at a thrift store. So I made a little hole in the center, and then I am just kind of haphazardly doing some lines in a circular pattern in like a starburst that you can kind of see in the background. So I'm going to do a little bit of this with you on camera so you can kind of see. I made it about halfway and I decided that's enough. So even though the sketch calls for a complete starburst of thread, which is where my brain was going to, so it'll be super fun to see how everybody else's take on this, if they are going to do stitching or not. But I made it halfway and I decided, yeah, that was enough. So I have a photo of my husband and my father-in-law. This was after my husband took him on a flight, and they snapped this photo, and I thought that was just a very sweet memory. So I'm going to go ahead, and it was originally a 4x6. I trimmed it down, and I backed it with that super fun arrow paper. And again, I am going to ink the edges. And then I am going to kind of look, and I remembered in the sketch that my plan wasn't to do a full mounted frame or layer behind the photo. It was actually just to have pieces of paper behind there, which was kind of definitely one of my favorite things to do, especially when you get down to scraps and you can just layer all of those little bits of scraps behind your photo and create a a mat for your photo. And I love that. I do love a simple mat all the way around, but there's something about putting all of those little pieces of paper behind your photo, and it could be my addiction to paper, honestly, which would make probably the most sense. So I just grabbed a piece of black cardstock that was just an extra piece, and I went ahead and put that up in the left upper hand corner. Now, this kit doesn't have any labels, and I did think of grabbing my punch. I have a label punch, and making some labels out of that. But on the cut apart sheet, there were these 2 strips. And so initially I thought I was going to do the one that had the words, but I end up doing the one that has the arrow. And I thought, gosh, this would be really fun to kind of embrace all of the arrows. I felt like it was really good for flying. So I had fussy cut out some of the arrows from the arrow paper, as well as there were some arrows that were in the die cut pack. And so I'm going to put those in between my sewn lines. And then I'm going to make a little cluster per se up here at the top. I was originally thinking one of those corduroy hearts, but instead I'm going to change it to the stars, since I have all those stars as the border of my background paper. So I'm actually going to get 2 of those puffy, quilty kind of stars on. I'm going to do the yellow one up at the top and the blue one down at the bottom that goes on the little die cut piece that says goals. And then here I was just showing you that I stamped the date, and I said it was the 40th of June instead of the 4th. So I had to cut that off, and I just added another arrow. Totally made it work. Added a couple of, what are those? They're stars and arrows, wood veneer from my stash to go with this Celebrate All Things from the kit. So that's going to do it for me today. Make sure you check out everybody down below and Color Rush Studio. You can use my code Crystal10. That'll save you 10%. And remember to wear your crown. And we'll see you next week. Bye.